The show is about to begin. Enjoy.
Michael O'Grady, I Creativi.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Michael O'Grady and the Creatives. This is episode 9, and today my awesome creative guest has worked on such films like Avatar, Captain America, The Winter Soldier. He is a director, works in post-production and digital assets. He is born and raised from Los Angeles. I think you're my first guest that is from Los Angeles.
L.A.?
L.A., there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jason BEALE. What's up, man?
Pretty good. Look at you with the radio voice.
Yeah.
I wasn't used to that. I was like, oh, wow.
I know, yeah. My brother mentioned a comment about that. He's like, you would do really great for like 3 o'clock in the morning, being like, all right, you cool cats and kittens out there. This is a slow jam 70s hour. Like, you've seen Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah.
Stephen Wright?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I always think of is that voice right there where he's like, what's the name of it? He's like, the super soul sounds of the 70s.
Yeah, you got that.
You know what I
got
mean?
that.
Like that whole,
that.
it's that whole tone to it. And I
Mhm.
think that's how the movie starts, is with his voice going like, you're listening to the KROQ,
Yeah, you might be right.
And everything.
KR101.
yeah, all that fun stuff. Yeah. So I'm trying to get the voice down and everything. Plus, I'm from the Midwest.
Okay.
So being from Ohio,
Where
we
it's
have
cold.
like this, where it's cold and everybody kind of has like this huge, elongated way of talking.
Yeah.
Very enunciated. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
we're stuff like that. It's not like the cliche California bro. Yeah, man.
Nah,
what's
you guys
going
don't chill. Just
Yeah.
relax.
Do you feel like that being from here? Like there's that LA stereotype voice vernacular.
Yeah, because we're not miserable from the cold.
Everybody's in like a good mood.
Right?
That kind of a type of thing.
Mhm.
So we're getting started with everything. Again, like I said, you've worked as a director. You've worked in post-production.
Director of post-production.
Director of post-production.
Yep,
Gotcha.
yep.
Sorry, I got to keep all
That's all
that
right,
stuff.
It's
like-
movie.
yeah, there's a lot of layers
Oh.
to all your guys' jobs and everything. So give me and everybody who doesn't know like a little brief of, I guess, like the top pyramid of like what you do, like what your job is.
Okay, so, and...
Make sure you're right
Oh.
here. Yeah, and you can adjust it however you need to.
So let's just talk the studio system. So usually a studio system is broken down into post-production,
Okay.
production, and then like you have your creatives to do the development, find scripts, get the top talent, that kind of stuff.
Right.
I guess the creatives are probably the most important, and then it goes production, then post-production, and then visual effects is somewhere off to the side. Nah, we tease them. But yeah, so then every department has a head, which could be the president or a VP, depending on what company you're at. We don't have presidents ours. We just have VP. So you have like the head VP, another VP, director, manager, coordinator, assistants, interns.
Wow.
So I'm at the director.
Right. Of that whole trickle down.
And we don't have a traditional VP. We just have a head and then no one else and then me director.
Right.
And that's it. So I listen to the top dog and that's about it.
No shit. Yeah. And everything. And we were talking a little bit about before we got started on this, and you mentioned something really awesome that is, I guess, general knowledge, or it's out right now, that you guys are now working on like the first.
Yeah, we're shooting. Yeah.
What are you guys shooting?
So right now, before the whole COVID thing, we were shooting Dune.
Okay.
We actually finished another movie called Enola Holmes during COVID too, but let's stick to Dune. So we did mocap. So we're finishing up some mocap shots. We started Monday. I think we were the first big movie to shoot in LA not even post-COVID, I guess, this phase 2, 3 lockdown situation we're in. And then I think we're going to be the first people to shoot in Europe too. We're going to Budapest in about a month.
This is for Dune.
This is for Dune. Yeah.
Wow. Now who's in Dune? I don't know anything about this movie.
Wow. So we have the Skarsgård brothers. We have the kid from Spider-Man. I mean, we had to look this up later because I forget the cast. It's like 12 people. We have Jason Momoa in there.
No shit.
Like, it's so packed that I can't even remember all the names offhand.
Dune was... This this is not a remake, is
Oh,
it?
this is a remake
This
from
is
the- yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Because when you said Dune, I was like, I know that name. I know that movie.
Yeah.
Why do I know that?
1984, the sand, the sandworms. That's how everybody remembers it. It's
Yeah.
about the sandworms coming up.
Well,
yeah.
then that makes me think of Tremors.
Yeah, that's the bad one.
That's the bad. That's the bad version of Dune. Right.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you know how your mind.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I know one of them's one. Da da
Yeah.
da 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 da, and all that shit.
And I think they made it into a TV show too.
Did they really?
Yeah, Twin Peaks guy, director. I'm skipping his name. Come
Oh,
on,
I
you can
don't
help me
know.
out.
How could I help you out? You're here to help me out with all the terminology.
That's right. That'll come to me later.
So wait, so Dune is it's already been shot, or you
Yeah,
guys are
so-
starting to now shoot
No, we started shooting. So this is what they call additional photography.
it? Okay.
Like we do a quick director's cut, which is usually lasts about 50 days in Hollywood. It's a union thing. So the director, after the last day of shooting, has 50 days to assemble their cut and present it to the studio. So, and then after that, we'll go through and then we'll see what scenes we're missing, what we need to add, help if there's some visual effects stuff that's not going well. We'll
Right. Is that like I've heard the term pickup shots?
same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah,
That's what you're doing. You're taking a look at what has already been filmed and done
Yeah.
with Dune.
Yeah.
And going, okay, we have our movie, and then your job is to go in and go to listen to the director, and he goes, hey, we need this, this, this. We're missing this, that, and the other
Yeah,
thing.
and it could
Get
be
it done.
It could be a director that brings that note. It could be the editor. It could be a studio exec. Or it could just be from audience participation. We do screenings. Like you've seen people out there. Do you want to watch this movie that's not finished? On like 3rd Street, Santa Monica. Well, yeah, we'll listen to the audience and take their notes and say, oh, it's not trending well. Let's find out why. Sometimes it's from their questions, or we just can obviously,
Yeah.
make the decision ourselves.
And your job behind all this is what exactly?
So,
Give me like a quick snap of like
Okay.
a good example.
So in post, we are in charge of the editors and making sure they have everything to do their job. So we're like assisting the creatives. And that said, we'll, make their deals, provide their equipment that they're going to use, tell them where they're going to be doing it, obviously rein them in. We'll make a schedule for them. So like on this day, you have to have this shot done. This day we have to go into audio. Then we'll follow it. And that's kind of picture.
Okay.
And then we'll move into audio. And then we'll start working with mixers, musicians, sound designers, kind of into your world a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah.
We'll go there. We'll mix it. We'll do all the mixes for the different types of audio, like 5.1, 7.1, Atmos. We'll do all those different kind of mixes and DTSX.
What's
which is-
DTSX?
DTSX is it's just transfers, kind of like Atmos, but when you go to a theater, they'll say like Atmos sound or DTSX. Those are pretty much comparable, just
Really?
different competing companies.
This is how we hear the movie?
Yes.
Is this? I just saw a documentary. I think it's on Prime, and it's. God, the name is. I can look it up. I have my iPad right here. But it's like a sound documentary about how sound changed film.
Yeah.
And when they first came up with the stereo surround sound,
Mm-hmm.
going, oh, we have left and we have right, and then was it like Stanley Kubrick who was like, I want left, right, back, and like middle.
Yes.
And that was Apocalypse Now because he wanted that
The
whole
5.1 sound.
Is that what that is?
Yes,
5.1.
So,
Oh, okay. So you're handling that at that point to go,
Yes.
how is this going to sound? How is this going to feel?
so the traditional ones are 5.1, 7.1, and then Atmos, which is I think 11.2.
wow.
So the points are your subs, just so you know. So when it's like
Oh.
5 speakers and a sub.
That's what that 5.1, 7.1 is? What's a
Mhm.
movie theater typically?
In LA or
Yeah.
around the world?
Oh,
I mean here because
both. Let's hear both.
I mean,
that's
in
different,
LA,
right?
we have most of our theaters are going to have 7.1, or there's going to be an Atmos theater in a theater. But some small theaters around the world, they might have only 5.1, or even in the country. Like if you go to a smaller place, they're only going to have 5.1 audio. I mean, in LA, people have 5.1 in their house, but
Right,
that's
but
the
not
rest.
everywhere.
No. Some theaters only have 5.1, so
Is
we have
that-
to mix.
Is that a part of your job too, to make sure this movie is cut and to be like, hey, we have a version of it that's 7.1, 5.1?
Correct.
Really? To make sure that when a theater goes, we don't have that.
Yes.
We don't have that in Hickory, like da 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 da.
Exactly.
Sorry to make. I'm not making fun. I apologize. But that's where I'm from. Is
Yeah.
those like, not like a podunk town.
But if you go to Chicago or the Midwest or like Ohio, some
They're-
small place out
yeah.
there like Cleveland or something, might not all have 7.1. They might not even have Atmos in some of their theaters. I mean, the newer ones probably, yes.
Sure.
But maybe one screen, 2 screens.
What's the theater on, and people will know this who are not from LA or don't live in LA. You've seen this. What does it say? Doesn't it say Cinerama?
Cinerama Dome.
Cinerama Dome. What's
Yes.
that one?
Cinerama Dome has been remodeled like recently, but the Cinerama Dome is a different technology. Let's dive in. So that's like a bowl. So it was kind of like the IMAX for the old days. So they used to have multiple projectors doing their own quadrant in the dome to give you that really, really wide look. So
That's more than one projector?
It was.
Oh, it was.
It was. But some IMAX theaters still use two projectors at this point in time.
No shit.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Get you a little wet. Yeah, wet. No, but let's give it. So the audio. So we usually start with the Atmos and then mix downs. We do like crash downs, as you would probably say in audio.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha.
But Atmos is a different ball game. That's when you actually, it's basically like a 3D model, and you move the 3D objects across like a theater model, and it can actually track the audio across.
Really?
Yeah, so if you have a car and you want it to come across the screen like diagonally for the people who are not watching my hand.
Yeah.
You can track it. You can make an object and pull it in that little box that's supposed to resemble a theater. And
Right.
literally trace a line of where you want the audio
That's
to fit.
how you're looking at it on your editing screen.
Yeah.
This is how we want the sound to move.
Yes.
No shit.
And that's all 3 axes. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. There was something else they said in an example with that, the audio of sound, especially with something like, it was Apocalypse Now, and I think, what was that? There was another movie that came out not that long ago, and they used it as a good example because, let's say the shot is panning down the street,
Yeah.
and you got cars going this way, you got cars going that way, you got people walking this way, you got audio, how it would be in real life, you're hearing sounds from the full spectrum. So you can sit there and go, like, in that whole process, you sit there with them?
Yeah, we have mixers. I mean, half the time I'm not there, but, sometimes we go check on the mix.
Yeah.
As an executive, we'll go for the end, go visit for like 20 minutes, stick our head.
Yeah. Are you the person, or is there somebody there going, hey, I want to make sure this sounds like they're going in with like their ears to the ground going, yeah, this feels right.
The director will come in.
The director
will come in and be like, yes.
What's a good example of a movie you worked on where something like this was like super critical? Where everyone was just like maybe either on pins and needles, or they were like, we got to make sure this thing sounds.
Well, I mean, most blockbusters, sound is such a crucial thing. People,
it doesn't go,
it doesn't go miss.
Right,
it's everybody's coming in. I mean,
maybe the most challenging. Let me ask that question.
Let's put the last big we did Godzilla 2. We did with all the monsters and all those sounds,
right? Where
every roar had to be a certain sound. I mean, we made Godzilla's roar underwater. So it's like, oh, it doesn't sound underwater enough. Like, add some more reverb, put some more bubbles. I mean,
right.
Yeah, it goes down to that detail. I mean, they're in there mixing and going over the same line over and over again.
No shit.
Even during COVID, because I have a funny story about that. So, no one's allowed in the building, but I got a little pass to go into the building at work during the time because I had to do some stuff. And our editors are remoting into their old edit bays from their house right now.
Oh, okay.
So it's like 8 o'clock. It's dark. Only the little green exit sign's on. And I hear somebody go, hello. And I'm like, okay, who's in here fucking with me right now? I know somebody's in there. I'm like, hey, who's in here? No answer. And I was like, all right, let me get some food out of the fridge that I wasn't supposed to be in. So in the fridge I'm not supposed to be in, I hear hello again. I go, oh, somebody's definitely messing with me. I'm still in food. And somebody's yelling at me, right? And then I hear like 8 more times, and I'm like, man, this is trippy. I'm like walking around, I don't see anybody.
In the distance?
Yeah, in a distance. And I finally walk by, and I see a screen on, and they didn't turn off the speakers to that guy, and he was just watching the hello line to make sure it was perfect over and over again. And I'm like, who's in here messing with me?
Oh my! And this is during COVID.
During COVID,
you're thinking I'm the only one here.
Yeah, no one's there. It's 8 o'clock at night.
Creepy. That's like, horror story shit. Like if you've ever been like in an old theater and they're like, oh yeah, it's haunted.
And a black guy dies first, so I was like, oh shit, it's over for me. I'm toasted.
Yeah, but I think you're fine because if you're by yourself, you should be good. I think it's when it's the ensemble.
Oh, that's right.
If you have the ensemble and you have the jock and you have the nerd and you have the virgin and you have the slut, then I would be looking around going, wait, what order am I in this horror movie?
I think the only one that's made it out was LL Cool J in that shark movie.
Oh, yeah,
Right?
Deep Blue Sea.
He's the only one that made it out.
You think he doesn't make it too, right?
Yeah.
Which, and funny enough, because Sam L. Jackson doesn't make it
Right?
when he starts yelling. That's my favorite thing about that is that when I saw that movie, I was a little kid. And I don't think I knew the level of Sam L. Jackson at that point. So when I saw Deep Blue Sea, I was just like, oh. And then years go by as I'm developing my movie senses and who Samuel L. Jackson is. And I start laughing going, oh, isn't that funny that they do a scene that is so what he's known for?
Yeah.
Giving a big speech, you start yelling, motherfucking motherfucker. And then the shark
goes,
and I'm like, oh, how funny. They knew it.
Back then.
I see what you were doing there. But you know what I mean? Like that kind of, I think, in, more like what Dave Chappelle did with him.
Yeah.
Or
Samuel.
the best part is when he goes, did you see Deep Blue Sea? They ate me. A motherfucking shark ate me. And it's the funniest. I think my favorite part of that sketch, too, is Bill Burr. He's like, why are you yelling?
That's right. Bill Burr's in there. I forgot about
Before
that.
he was huge.
Yeah.
But he always like worked with them and everything because
Yeah.
they're all comedians and whatnot. No, that's so fucking cool, man. Like, oh my God. No, because I have a little bit of that, like with being a musician and when I watch movies and I see, or I'm listening to podcasts and I'm like doing this and everything and how crucial sound is and diving into that. And I like what I'm sure you guys probably work with this is there's, I don't know if it's an umbrella, but it's like it's like a half circle spectrum.
Okay.
And they kind of compared it to like, here's what we have first. Here's what we have second, and here's what we have third. Like you have
well, just filling in the audio. They're showing you the progression of the audio.
Pretty much,
okay,
yeah. And it was really cool to kind of see like, oh, there is so much that goes into this. Not only that, but the progression of how each movie was a landmark with sound at the time.
Well, I'm glad you guys like that because those things are really annoying to make, and the movie's over, and I'm like, why am I still working on this thing?
Well, dude, and the thing about it is, this is what's interesting to me, and this is what I always try to like. Explain to people who are in the field or what it is that we're doing. A lot of people, our audience or whatever's going on, they don't care about how it works and how long it took you to do it. They just want it to be great.
And look cool.
And look fucking cool. I asked a music director in MD one time. We were rehearsing in this band. And just as a good example of these little minute things that we care about, like what you do and like what I do and what a lot of other people do out here in Los Angeles, is that I go, we're rehearsing this show with this band, and we're at like one of the studios here in Los Angeles called SIR, and it was a 30-minute set. Simple songs, just like, burr, burr, burr. That's it. Couple stops here and there, simple pop tunes. But we rehearsed the hell out of it. Like from sun up until sundown.
And you got to do it in the same room you're going to be performing in, right?
Right. So we're doing this like super intense, and we were like working like our asses off, and it was fun. And he was so like insightful. Like I could talk to him. I could ask him questions because I like this is probably why I'm doing this, is I like kind of going, wait, why do you do that?
Yeah.
Why? I pull it apart, And he goes like, I was like, to me, it seems like it's healthy and good to do this because it's going to be that little thing that's going to make somebody see the band and go, I love them, or, it was okay.
Yeah.
Those little,
you
know what I mean? He's like, that's exactly why we do this. That's exactly why every little thing counts, because those little things that they don't know about, they're going to hear your band and go, wow, I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times they don't know why they like it.
No.
But it is those little things. And when they're not there, they don't know what's not there, but they know that something's not there.
That's like yeah. It's like the same thing I saw something about like when they did with like a Foley artist. When they take all that shit out and they have somebody watch a movie, they're like, this thing sucks.
I mean, I've been guilty of making a lot of student films, but if you can see a student film, I mean, a lot of the problems, there's no sound. There's no sound design. There's no Foley. The levels are all different.
Yeah.
It's on a white wall. They don't put a picture up here or anything to break up the wall, and you're just like playing and like
all those
most
little
people don't. Yeah, but when you don't have them, you're like, oh, this looks terrible.
There's something about it that's throwing me off. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I just know I don't like it.
And then I learned that too. And then we were like, oh, let's print out a shitty looking poster that you can barely see, but break up the wall and do whatever. And it does change it.
Right.
Those little tiny things that, most people don't think. They're just like, let me grab this camera, hit on, and point it at the actor.
Yeah, exactly. No, but you know what? And I get into the rabbit hole of, you ever see on YouTube the 11 things you might have missed in The Dark Knight? The 18 things that you didn't.
I think I watched that once, and I was like, okay, I can't watch this stuff.
Really? Oh, did that bother you?
No, because we have to, in another part of our job is we have to do QC and quality control.
Okay.
So we'll watch this movie.
I should have been able to figure that out.
We'll watch the movie like 100 times for audio, for visuals, and then after we watch it 100 times in English, we'll watch it 100 times in other languages. And it's terrible. And the worst way to watch it is if you haven't seen the English version and you have to watch the Chinese, Japanese, or another one first, and you're like, all right, this movie's ruined for me forever.
Wow. Now, but what bothers you about those videos is, are they inaccurate when they go 11 things you didn't notice about, and you're sitting there going, no, that's not why we did.
That happens a lot. That definitely happens a lot. That's not
really.
Though, like,
oh, you're popping my bubble right now.
The director made this choice for this, and then you talk to the director like, no, that was an accident. Oh no, we didn't.
So it almost
gets
into that like conspiracy.
Yeah, but my more problem is like, all right, there's two ways to watch a movie. Like, I can go and watch a movie, and I can literally tear apart everything technically wrong with it. And be that annoying person. That's why you never sit next to people who just started working in film or just got out of film school. Because you're like, can we just enjoy this thing? I know it's wrong. But let's just enjoy the movie. I mean, if it's a bad movie, sometimes I'll slide into that mode, and you don't want to be sitting next to me. If it's a bad movie, I'm like, oh,
this
that's
is why it's bad. Checklist this. They didn't do this. They should have done that.
Or I can always guess. I'm pretty bad at this. I'll guess the ending of a movie so easily. Or guess the thing, because I mean, there's like script writing things. If you see
like 101, we need to do this, we need to do that.
It's like people notice it more in comedy. Like there's always like a thing that they go back to.
Right.
Yeah, and then a film. If you see anything, sorry people. If you see something
We're
3
ruining
times,
it for you.
If you see something 3 times or hear 3 times, that's gonna be part of the answer, the solution in the film. And if you're watching TV, it's usually 7 acts. So if you see it 7 times, that's your answer. It's all based on the acts.
One TV show.
Yeah, because TV shows are set up for. Well, let's take out the new Netflix style TV. Let's go traditional TV.
The old format.
Yes.
Yeah.
7 acts.
You mean in the 30 minutes there's 7 acts?
Yeah.
No. What?
Yeah, because that's their commercial breaks. So those are different acts. So they built it in a 7-act structure for the TV for commercials.
Is this a formula that people have followed by with like Frasier, Friends, Cheers?
Yeah,
This works.
And when they don't do it, it's weird. Like, you saw Apocalypse Now, right?
Yeah, a long time ago, but yeah.
But there's a funny, weird feeling you get in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people contribute it for it only being 2 acts and not 3, so it never has a really great resolution.
Our friend Matt Coatsworth, who did the last episode, he said something to me a long time ago that stuck with me to this day, like 7 years ago, is he said the 3-act is establish, destroy, rebuild.
Same thing.
Same idea?
Yeah, same idea.
And I feel like a lot of movies, a lot of storytelling, it just as a basic concept of storytelling, even if it's a simple joke, has that. We've established, we agree.
Mm-hmm.
And now we rupture the system that we just agreed upon.
Yep.
And now we have a new thing to make you go, oh, thank God.
And you can say intro, conflict, resolution. You can put it in a different term if you want
so
to.
That's the 3-act. That's basically it in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. But, okay, so yeah, in like a Stanley Kubrick film, it has this weird pace.
Yeah.
Or would you, well, I mean.
Well, not all of them, but yeah. But you can always feel when it's not quite right. And you're like, there's an act missing. Or
but he's doing that on purpose, right? Or no?
I mean, sometimes you have to try things. Sometimes stuff works out. So, you know.
What's the 7-act thing? I didn't know about this.
Yeah, it's just
give me like a normal regular TV show.
It's easier to watch a sitcom. Yeah. So like like there's always a little kind of pause or ending to every little segment before you go to commercial.
Yeah.
Or they lift you on a cliffhanger and then
but we have 2 commercials, right?
No.
2 commercial segments.
It's probably 7. I
Oh, wait,
remember,
wait.
yeah.
Intro. They would do their opening
Yep.
credits, and then you have the commercial after the credits. Okay,
Yep.
so we already established the episode.
Yep.
Then you have your second act.
First of all, let me rephrase. I work in film. I don't work
No,
in
that's
TV.
why you're here.
But
That's why I'm
TV and
asking.
film are very different.
Right.
But yeah, TV I know is a 7-act structure. Now, like the major ones like Game of Thrones, I think they're closer to following a 3-act structure. But
Per
yeah,
episode.
Yeah, per episode.
Yeah, and that's a lot different now, which is
Yeah.
very interesting because it's like now we're watching these like epic cinematic movies broken up into just like sections.
Yeah.
To give you that whole, oh fuck, now I gotta watch another one because they can't. In the last 30 seconds,
Yeah.
the one guy does this, and then you're like, oh, now I need to know.
And they leave you on a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
And then they give you the answer, and then they start the next page.
that's
of
the
it.
whole
Yeah.
binge watching and everything like that. I think one of my favorite examples that somebody who didn't fuck around for too long was Breaking Bad.
Okay.
In my it was 5 seasons, and I was like, great,
Let's
we
end
got it.
Let's end it.
You know what I mean? They didn't drag it out to like Matt and I were talking about this, like Walking Dead's like in season, 11 or whatever. And
Well,
I'm
Matt's much better at the TV stuff than me.
Right.
I'll defer to him.
Yeah.
I'll do the film questions.
No, but still, I mean,
Yeah.
regardless or whatever, it's just one of those little fun things about like whether it's TV or film.
Yeah.
If you're setting something up and like what you're talking about with like the student films, like all these little things.
Make the biggest difference.
Right. And like the general audience just goes, I just like it. It's
Yeah.
just good. But there's so much work that goes into everything.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you learn about like in a documentary of a film of like this almost didn't happen or it was a shit show to work on.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just
Doesn't
like,
relate to how good the movie is.
That's true, too.
Not at all. Trust me.
yeah. So it's like, does it feel like every time you go into a project, does it feel like, oh, we got an ace in the hole? Or you're like, I don't know.
All right, let me tell you a story then. So we're on Avatar, right?
Okay, so I didn't, until we talked about doing this show, I didn't know you were on Avatar.
Oh, yeah.
I had no
2
idea.
years I suffered. No, it was great. I was on that movie for 2 years. But yeah, it was a learning experience. That actually movie resembled more of a student production you ever see in your life. We used pool noodles for everything.
Are you serious?
Like when you don't have a dolly, like professional dolly, you like wheel your friend around in a chair to get the shot like a dolly.
Right.
There was people wheeling James Cameron around in a chair.
Just to get it done.
Yeah, just to get it done.
Now, why would that happen?
Because we were just doing it. We were scrappy on there. We were doing like anything goes. And also, at that time, we were doing like dual 3D cameras and using technology that had never been done before. So everything was trial and error.
Wow.
So we were trying things for the first time on that film as far as the way to shoot movies and all kind of stuff like that. I think I remember one day we had Spielberg come in. We had the Governator come in. And I want to say Peter Jackson was there. And I was like, yo, they throw a bomb on this building, Hollywood's dead. They're all here watching us right now.
You all can't be here at the same time.
Right?
It's too much of a liability. That's in the contract.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, if this happens, we're going down right
the
now. Hollywood's
NFL
over.
musicians are in there. Like, get somebody, separate them.
Yeah, and I think even Spielberg borrowed a crew for a month to do a test on his Tintin movie while we were there. Because he's like, oh, this stuff looks cool. Let me try this out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So even those guys are kind of going, hey, let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, especially that, like, because at that point we're taking in effects. We had 3 different art departments. No one had ever done it before. So the
Jeez.
stuff we did on that movie, like literally, it was trial and error. You couldn't do it wrong because there's no playbook. We were writing the playbook as we were doing that one.
No way. And
Yeah.
did that change a lot after Avatar where people were like, oh, we're going to do it like this now?
They took pieces of it. I mean, Avatar was a huge budget, and it was also exploration. So now
Really?
people know how to get in, like they know how to do 3D a little bit cheaper. It doesn't look the same. Instead of using 2 cameras, they'll model a 3D and then they'll project onto it to like do like the fake 3D.
Oh, okay.
And that's pretty much what happens on every single 3D movie, because shooting 2 cameras, it's very expensive because then you're doing all your effects twice, one for the left eye, one for the right eye.
Wow.
So everything's double. And everything is double the cost, and the mistakes take double as long to fix.
And you're in the mix of all this doing what?
At that time I was starting off. I I was a coordinator, but I was trying to like push my title. So I think they called me something like an associate, but I was trying to get as high as I could on that movie.
Of course,
so I was like,
yeah.
I'll take whatever. But yeah, I ended up being, I guess the official title was art coordinator, but I was also in charge of live action, vehicles, and something else. It's been a while.
Right.
So I was
yeah,
like
yeah.
a coordinator for 3 little small departments.
Wow.
Yeah.
And your job is to coordinate
Yeah.
and make sure this shit gets done
Yes.
on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
What's a day like on Avatar like?
Well-
6 a.m. to 6 a.m.?
There were some long days in there. Some long days. I mean, so also that one's kind of not a traditional structure because it was basically all hands on deck. Whatever you know how to do, participate. Yeah. So I remember helping edit like videos of just James talking to other people. I remember talking
James
to
is...
James Cameron.
James... Oh,
Yeah.
the director...
The director. Yeah.
You're helping edit a
Like
video.
he'll help, like he'll have like meetings, and he was like, "Want somebody to edit them?" And I was like, "All right, let me throw some edits on there and do that too."
For what?
Just for just of a meeting, just for
Just
a meeting.
to have it?
Yeah, just a
Learning
meeting.
purposes,
Oh,
future
he was sending it
reference?
to people who weren't in the meeting or who weren't invited to the meeting.
Oh,
'Cause,
okay.
there's a very hierarchy structure. But that one's pretty interesting because I was also growing up in LA, and he made me drive these visual effects meetings that we used to have in Weta. And at the time, Weta, you guys have heard, it's like one of the bigger 3D companies. It's in New Zealand.
No.
Well, they originally sent like a whole bunch of people that lived in LA to go start off Weta and kind of like, teach the New Zealanders or the Kiwis, as we would say, how to do the stuff and help train them up.
Right,
But
right,
at
right.
that time, it was a lot of my friends' dads. So I'd be on the screen and opposite, and they were like, "Oh, call me Tim." I'm like, "No, Mr. So-and-so." I'm like, "I'm going to call you by your last name still." They're like, "We're at work. You're not in our house." I'm like, "Ah, no, I'm cool. I'm going to still call you by your last name."
Right, we're going to keep it professional.
But yeah, I mean, and then I just remember that it was hilarious because they used to take bets on when James was going to kick me out of the meeting. Because like we had those Wacom tablets, right? And we were supposed to he wanted me to circle stuff that was wrong or show things or make these little videos where you can click through for the other side of the world can see them. And it you can never read somebody's mind, so you're gonna mess up.
Right.
So every time you mess up, he would yell at me and kick me out of the meeting. So they used to take
James Cameron's yelling at you on his meeting videos that you're editing.
Oh yeah, that happened too. Yes.
Oh, wait,
yeah.
but this
This was just one time of meeting because I edited a whole bunch. But yeah, sometimes those were recorded too.
So this
And
isn't the film. This is not the movie.
No.
This is something sidebar that nobody would ever know about or
Yes.
talk about, and you're getting. This is your job, is to make sure you make the boss, James Cameron, happy,
Yeah.
and he's going, "Get the fuck out of my
Yeah, and it would happen almost every time. So they would take bets on it. Like, when am I going to get out of the meeting?
like the over or under. Is Jason gonna be
Am I
3?
making-
I'm calling 3 minutes. No, it's gonna be a minute and a half. Like da 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 da.
Well, the worst is when you're in there for an hour and then you get kicked out. I was always trying to get kicked out in the first 20 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I have so much work to do. And this is addition to my regular job too.
Is he I'm sorry, I don't know if you can, but is he is he like the coach on the 50-yard line, yelling, going "What the fuck?" Is he mad? Is he passionate?
Yes, but you also understand he's also the smartest guy in the room.
Sure, yeah, and it's all on him.
Yeah,
It's
so
James Cameron's film.
there's definitely other directors who are yellers, but you don't have the same respect as you do when it's Cameron because Cameron,
Right.
The dude knows everything he's talking about. He knows everything about editing. He knows everything about the art department. He knows all about the cameras.
No
So
shit. Wow.
you can deal with it. When you have the goofball director who just was just the coach in some TV series, and this person you're like, all right,
Yeah.
you have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. No shit. Wow. Was that I'm sure were you said you wanted to get kicked out in 20 minutes. So you weren't intimidated, being oh
no.
shit.
It was never I'm gonna lose my job. It was just oh no, and then he's gonna start. Then he's gonna take the tablet and do his own drawings,
right.
which are probably better than mine anyway.
No shit. Yeah. Wow. I didn't know. That's something I would. I mean, because when that movie came out, that was a smash.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
Oh, that's how we got to this movie. Because I was gonna tell you, we were talking about if a movie's gonna be good or bad.
Yes. That. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I remember all of us in our department, like, man, what is this weird thing with these blue people and these long ass tails and running around? And it's just going to be horrible. This is going to be horrible. And some people were working on that movie for 5 years.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and then I remember we were in all the art department and stuff. We all sat together, and we're in the Chinese theater, and we're watching the movie, and it ended, and we all looked at each other, and we're like, that was good, right? And they're like, yeah, that was really good. And we're like, oh, great, because we were all shocked that it turned out to be good.
So when you're starting out with this, with Avatar, at
Yeah.
first you're going, I don't know.
Yeah, we're almost everybody in the crew was like, I don't know, this is a little weird. This is a little weird.
What is it about it that's weird? It's just because it's not done and everyone's going,
No.
you'll see it. You'll see the final product. It'll be
I
great
mean,
on
well, just listen to this concept. It's giant blue people with long tails walking around interacting with humans. I mean, the premise is not there, and we were like making these oversized.
You don't want to pitch. You don't want to pitch it like that either. You don't ever want to go in there. Like, what do you got for us? Giant blue people. Is it the Blue Man Group? No. They kind of have tiger stripes and yellow eyes, and they're interacting with people, and it's just like, so it's like Roger Rabbit. No, like yeah, that's so it's a gamble at first, and you're going like, I don't know if this is gonna.
I mean, in the art department, because I was in art department at that time, we were just trying to make it cool in any way.
Right.
So we were like, I mean, if you saw, remember the Big Tree of Life?
Yeah.
Here's a little cool, like 10 things you didn't know about the film.
Ooh.
So if you always look at the pad and you like saw the chest X-ray of the what's it? I forgot what the blue people called. It started with
I
N,
don't
right?
know. I
Shit,
couldn't
it's
tell
been a
you.
long
I
time.
couldn't
But
tell
anyway,
you.
that is the tree of life. That body image, when you look at their like scan of the body, is the tree of
Okay.
life.
Yeah.
And then all that stuff is connected to the tree at the end.
Right.
So when you see that image a lot, like on the X-rays of the blue people and all that
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
back. And I think at one point they kind of put it and superimpose it over the tree. I don't know if people picked up on it, but yeah.
Really?
So that's why they're so connected to the earth and all that other stuff.
Oh. So, like, when you're doing something like this and you're working in the trenches of the film, are you looking at things that are uncut, unfinished, undeveloped, whatever, and you're going, what the fuck is this? Like, what are we doing? Like, this doesn't look... Are you saying to yourself, this does not look good, and this is going to tank, and people are going to be like, are you in there going, what am I looking at? What are we doing?
You definitely do that, and there's other times when you see the movie and you know that the good stuff didn't make it in there, and you know, because I also worked in dailies and with the camera crew, so I know sometimes, we shot some better stuff, and you know it's on the cutting room floor, as they say, like it didn't make it into the movie.
Like something like Avatar.
Not so much Avatar.
Not that one?
I don't
Oh,
want
okay.
to talk about this a couple. I know, but yeah.
But you're going, why didn't you use that?
Oh yeah, and then sometimes it's bad talent, and other times it's political stuff that you have no idea.
Really?
So the politics is made to destroy movies.
Wait, so like the politics, the movie company or whoever's in charge will go, yeah, we can't use that because it's too good?
Let me give you some fake
I don't want to get you
Let
in
me give
trouble,
some
by
fake
the way.
scenarios.
I don't want to get you in trouble, by the way. Yeah,
No, I'll give
whatever
you some fake scenarios.
All right, there you go.
So hypothetical situations here. So if I'm a director and I want it to look a certain way, and then the studio wants it to look a certain way, and we're in a problem, now we're personally sabotaging things for our own egos and objectives. So you don't want the director to look good, so you might do something. The director doesn't want, he knows you're taking his movie away, so they'll do something. He or she will do stuff like that. And then there's other types of things where I've heard from another person that he was working on a movie, and another executive wanted his boss's job, but he needed his boss to fail at a movie. So he's kind of like sabotaging the movie on the other side. So you can have it go both ways. The talent could be sabotaging the movie for some political reason, or so can the studio.
Wow. Just to get that one guy's job or to get him out of the picture, he's like, oh, I'm going to make sure this sucks.
Yeah.
No.
So when he goes in, that's his new spot.
It's kind of like, would it be like, if you and I are working on something, and you want it to be one way, and I want it to be another way.
Yeah.
And, it's like, you go, hey, can you try it like this?
Yeah.
And I try your way, but I do a shit job of doing it. So you go, oh, yeah, I guess it doesn't work.
Yeah. But it's
But
also,
my way.
But I also know you're doing a shit job,
You
but there's
know
nothing
that.
I can do about it. Like, I know, this dude is not doing it for
And
real.
that,
'cause
I'm
he doesn't
sure
want it.
happens
Yeah.
all the time. And
Yeah.
everything.
So So there's
I mean,
times
that's
like
like
that
being
too.
an actor or a musician.
Yep, it's the same. It's the same world.
It's-
It's Hollywood, baby. It's
it's-
always the same.
That weird sabotaging, that
Yeah.
weird mind games that people do, and I've experienced that a lot. And then the thing that fucks me up that I don't like is going, am I experiencing this right now, or am I being paranoid?
Paranoid, yeah, definitely. You definitely.
And you're like, how do I roll with that punch? How do I?
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
totally. I mean, I haven't witnessed it personally. It hasn't happened to me personally, but I've definitely seen it. I've definitely like, oh, that's going down.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
I've definitely seen it a couple
and-
times.
I mean, like, because that's all. I mean, that's the thing. Like, people, we hear about in like a movie or a TV show, whether it be like a documentary or a biopic or a TV show, let's say like Entourage or whatever like that.
Yeah.
And people, most of the time, I'll have friends or family members go, it's not really like that, is it? Is it, oh, I heard they do this, and they get these
Yeah.
like, they still get the real story of like, let's say a movie gets bought just so that it doesn't get made.
Oh, definitely.
And they think, oh, that's just Hollywood trying to pump it up. And they go, no, this shit happens.
No, it definitely happens. It definitely happens.
And
trust
that's
me.
like, you know what I mean? That's like what's bananas about it and
Yeah.
everything like that. So when we're working on like the inside of all this stuff, especially like whether you're behind the camera or you're doing like what you do, like post-production or like digital assets and everything. And people are like fighting, clawing
Oh yeah.
to go, I'm going to get your job. I want to fucking do this shit.
And like I said, I mean, I've been in art. I've helped out in set deck. I've been in visual effects. I've been in camera, and
Yeah.
I've been in post production. And I've been from the studio side to the freelance side. So
Yeah.
I've
You
seen
know
it all.
those.
I've seen it all.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
Now, are you on set most of the time, or
Not
would you say-
anymore.
no, okay.
No.
This
So
is
now,
after the movie's getting done, and they go, "Okay, this is what we got."
yeah.
How do you, if you're not there, you're not involved in that beginning process. How do you get briefed on all this?
So let's talk for post production. So post production, we'll inject ourselves in the very beginning
Mm-hmm.
because we're gonna pick what company the camera crew is gonna use to process their dailies, their footage. We're gonna also help them get it colored in. So we have to make sure that pipeline's gonna work for the end of the movie. So we'll just go put our 2 cents in, talk with them.
Yeah.
Well, pick 3 companies that they can choose from and let them choose their company out of the 3 that we know could work. And then we'll kind of monitor it and make sure everything's happening. But for the most part in post, we're off. We're off.
You're off the
We're
movie.
just chilling.
Until they get it done,
Yeah.
and they go, "Here it is."
And we'll come and visit and make sure they're not like doing stuff wrong, peek our heads in and stuff like that.
Right.
And then as far as digital assets, I might go there as well to make sure they're archiving properly, doing stuff. So if we're going to make a sequel or something else comes up, we have that stuff to come back to. Or as you like to say, the pickup shots, and we'll say additional photography or whatever.
Right.
Sometimes you have to go back into those scenes, so you got to make sure you have those files. And also, I don't do physical production assets, but there's a physical asset person that needs to look at the costumes and all that stuff that was
Right.
in that room. And
So
blah, blah,
basically,
blah.
it's the continuity of everything.
yeah, exactly.
And is that like your job? You're coming in, going, and they'll go like, "Hey, Jason, make sure we have."
No, there's a person on set, so I'm kind of like making sure that person on set is doing their responsibility too.
Oh, because
So,
you know
yeah.
what's important.
Yeah, and I've done assets on set before, so now I'm like there at the studio making sure that somebody who used to have my job is doing it right. Or doing
Right.
it. Which is that's some fun calls because some of my old bosses are much older than me too still, and I'll be like they're not doing stuff on everybody tries to cheat a little bit, right? And I'm like, I know you know how to do it because you trained me, so I know you know what you're doing. So don't play that because you showed me how to do it right. So don't be giving me this half-ass shit you're giving me right now. I know you know how to do it right.
Oh my God, that's so funny. You're like, you can't fuck. Like, you taught me this. You showed me this.
Yeah, that's happened
And
at least 2 or 3 times recently. I'm like, I know you know how to do it. You showed me.
You're like, oh, maybe they're just passing off the work to you.
Well,
and
sometimes they
everything.
don't know that I'm going to be the person that they're like returning the stuff to.
Oh.
Right? So then I call them like, hey.
Wait, they don't know
Yeah.
what you know.
Well, yeah.
Or they, yeah.
Well, because I was been on set and stuff for like 15 years. I've been in a studio for about 2.5, 3 years. So
Oh,
they still think that I'm like,
that you're
like a-
green to the studio.
No. They'll just think that I'm still like a freelance person. They
Oh.
don't know that I'm at the studio. So they're just, they're not paying attention to all the names of the studio.
Right.
So then like I call, I'm like, hey, yo, you're turning that stuff into me, and I already know this half-assed excuse is not gonna work.
Dude, man, it's so funny to like talk to somebody like you, because this stuff, hearing you just talk about it, scares the shit out of me. Like,
Really?
it seems like a lot of pressure to
Oh,
make
yeah.
sure a film goes well, and those I mean, like, and what's weird, and I don't know how you feel about this, because I do music and I do acting, and to me, being the entertainer, being the talent, being the
Yeah.
creative on stage, in front of camera, I'm like, this is way easier.
Shit, I don't want to be in front. I'm nervous right now. I've been sweating the whole time. I'd rather be behind the camera so much. You can have that stuff, bro.
Well, you're doing great, by the way. You're doing amazing. Yeah, the camera loves you. I think it does. I think it likes you a lot.
You can't
Yeah.
even see it.
Yeah, no, we can't
That's
even
the way.
fucking tell. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I think is weird, and what are interesting to me is meeting so many people in Los Angeles and doing what it is that I do. Is I've always been just like, oh, I don't like any part of the behind the scenes, because
You get to leave early. I'm jealous.
well, there's that. I dated a production coordinator. That's all I knew that she was,
And she works 14 hours a day.
and it was not fun
No.
being with her. And I didn't really know at the time. I mean, I kind of understood a little bit. I was respectful of it,
Yeah.
but it was hard, and I'm sure she was enjoying what she was doing. Well, maybe that's not true. Because
there are days that you enjoy it, and there's definitely days you
Right.
hate that shit.
Well, here's the other token to that or the other little nugget to that, I should say, is that she was an actress. So I think maybe a lot of that might have had to do with I should be acting, not doing this shit.
Exactly.
Which
you see a lot.
happens a lot.
Yeah.
And that's what's weird about living out here that I've noticed, and that's what makes me feel weird, is like when I've been here 10 years now, but I still have to find that healthy balance of like going like, you know, when I meet people and I talk to people, and from when we hang out and we're in social gatherings, so many people are not just hanging out and talking. It's always talking shop. It's always talking business. And when you feel that vibe hit, like, give you a good example. I did a short film earlier this year, and it's all fucked up by not getting done and whatever.
That's normal shorts.
Yeah,
regardless of COVID.
whatever. And like COVID
Yeah.
just messed everything up
Yeah.
for people getting like, I think there was the pickup shots.
Okay.
Which I wasn't involved with, thank God. And but I remember we were talking afterwards, and it was me and all these other people who were involved in the crew who I had no idea who they were. I mean, I saw them for 4 days.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know their
No.
job. I don't know anything, like da-da-da-da-da. I'm worried about getting my lines down and all that shit. And the immediate thing that I noticed was that we're all in this business. We're all in these fishes trying to, catch some bait and whatever. Everybody was talking like they were on a show. Like they were, do you know what I mean? Like
it definitely happens. I mean, I've been guilty of that in the past, but definitely you have to do it because
a little bit, yeah.
Until you get into the rhythm, until you get your name out there,
yeah,
you gotta go to places you don't want to go to. You gotta talk to people you don't want to talk to. You gotta talk shop.
Yeah.
Half the time now, since when I was running freelance, I was doing pretty good. I would probably only have like 2 weeks between movies, and I was like, can I take an extra 2? I need some time off to chill, guys. Can I start 2 weeks later?
Right. Yeah.
But once you're there, you have to do that kind of stuff. But then you get to chill. I like sit back and I like to watch it.
No,
and I like the people try to explain stuff to me. Like I don't know anything. I don't sit there and let them. I usually let them until somebody else says something. Like, oh, Jason works in film. But I mean, it's true for a lot of things. I mean, I was just out the other day, and I used to do bike races and stuff. And this girl was talking about her bikes and all this other stuff. Yeah, and I'm just listening, and then one of our mutual friend came over, and in a kind of rude manner, she goes, "Oh, yeah, that's right, you bike, but Jason really bikes." And I had said nothing. I was like, "Oh yeah, you bike? Oh, those road bikes are kind of cool."
You just kind of
I just let it go because
let it happen.
Because if you say something, then you're in hours of conversations. Like people aren't gonna stop.
Right, exactly, yeah. It's kind of like in a weird way of almost like we were talking about this. I can't remember what episode I was doing on, but the one weird thing about it, it's like the name dropping shit.
Yeah.
The second somebody does that in a actually, I'll say this: you're really good at that because I've known you for a while.
Yeah.
We've hung out a bunch on like occasions and going out and doing shit, and I didn't know half of the shit I just learned now, or like 3/4 of it. You don't really do that whole, oh, I've worked with James Cameron and da 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 da. But a lot of people I meet out here do that shit.
But they're looking for work. I would defend them. They're looking for work. Once
Right.
you're out of that mode, you don't have to do that. But name dropping's different. I get talking shop and name dropping.
Yeah, well, but okay, so there's that. Well, I guess maybe the way I can put it is when you're doing music, that's a weird thing because people can come off super ingenuine, whatever the word is.
Yeah.
Like you're going like, like it's, I don't know how to explain. I think that maybe might be the difference.
Well, there's also showing off, and then there's also like having a mutual conversation with somebody.
Well, but do you know what?
Yeah.
Well, it's also a little bit of a mentality thing because I think one thing I've learned as doing dual things of being like an actor and a musician.
Yeah.
It's almost different schools of thought of the way we're programmed. Musicians kind of go into this, like, we're not going to talk about that kind of type of shit. That's not how we talk. We talk about the art, and that's it, and we do it for the fans, and we do it for the people, and we want to talk about guitars and drums, and it wasn't a cool in Aerosmith bootleg 86 that they did the fucking... That's what we talk about. Not this producer, that. And when the second somebody starts doing that, the most of the time what I've noticed is they go, oh, I've worked with this producer, this engineer, this
That is
studio.
a really interesting thing you're saying.
And they do, most of the time, it's bullshit.
Oh.
They met Mark Ronson once at a party, but they sell it. Do you see what I mean?
Because it's interesting because I think I have the reverse action in film. When I hear somebody talking about the art and all these obscure movies, I'm like, oh my God, who's this game out of film school? This is some shit, this nerd shit we're going to talk about for hours. You're like trying to hide from those people.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of the opposite.
It's kind of, I feel it is out. Maybe just my percent. Yeah. But as soon as I hear, oh my God, Dogma 13, black and white movies. Yeah, I've seen them. I know they're great.
Yeah.
I know what they're built for, but I'm not sitting there and watching old Italian cinema or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because no one else is, except when you're in film school. And I was like, oh, he is green as shit. Let's get out of here.
That's your telltale for someone's green. Mm-hmm. They're talking about the art and everything.
Yeah, and I'm like, you haven't been jaded. You don't have any rough skin yet.
Well, and also, too, the other thing is a lot of the people, great musicians that I play with all the time out here, and this is how you kind of find your circle.
Yeah.
I end up playing with artists, singers, and songwriters and musicians that we end up talking about shit that has nothing to do with what we do almost.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know if you have that a little bit where... Does it feel like if they go, hey, we're talking about, the Oakland Raiders or something like that, and they go, by the way, what do you do? And you go, oh, I work in, post-production and director set. And they go, oh, let me work with you.
I got to be honest. Other than like Matt, Mandy, and Thane, I avoid other film people like the plague. So I try to avoid that shit as much as possible.
No shit.
Yeah. I'm like, no. I do not want to talk about this. I mean... even so much that I remember when I was in Australia, we were all supposed to be in the same hotel.
Mm-hmm. What was Australia for?
That was for Thor 3.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Yeah, so we're in the first day.
He is Thor 3. He's in. If you watch Thor 3, Jason is Thor 3. He's the third Thor. No,
yeah, me.
Yeah,
you
didn't know that? Watch it again. Watch it closely. You'll see. No.
But the first day back, I'm in the elevator. We're all off work. Somebody asked me a work question. I was like, nah, I'm out. The next day, I'm like, they're like, you sure? Your hotel is not going to be as nice as everybody else's. I'm like, I don't care. Send me to the Hilton because they were in some fancy. I was like, nah, I want to go to the Hilton.
No shit. You're like, get me out of this.
Get me out. I don't want to see anybody that I work with at the work. I'm out.
No, and I get that too, for sure. I mean, well, because that's, again, like you said, with working in this business of whatever it is you do. I mean, like, I asked a teacher about that at one point, like somebody I used to take lessons from, and I was like, why do I feel so shitty? And he's like, because this is what you do now. And you need a hobby. You need something else that's like, when you grew up in Ohio, you fell in love with playing music and acting and all that shit, and you're like, this is fun. And then you start doing it more seriously, and as years go by, and now you're actually like doing some shit. Now you need to pick up something else that is not that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? To kind of break it up. So when
Yeah.
you punch out, and you're like, I'm done.
Yeah, and then, you know, like, sometimes we're traveling to, like, the most beautiful places in the world and all
Right.
this other stuff. I don't need to experience L.A. in a different country.
Right.
So, like, a lot of times these guys come, and if you guys are starting to film, branch out. Don't stick with your crew, because that's all you're going to know. I went throughout, I rode my bike from, like, Brisbane to Sydney. Like 13 days. I went to all different places, met these things. I have friends in Australia still called, like, they call me today.
No shit.
People I met. I talked to the closest guys are the guys I met my first day there.
So this is like on like one of your days off.
Yeah. So when you're there, because most people, they go hang out with the crew. I mean,
Right.
I'll go to the big parties and the fun stuff with the crew.
Sure, yeah.
But then most of my time, I'm going out there meeting new people, going to check out stuff. You don't want to get
As
caught
you
in
should.
that world. Yeah.
Somebody gave me a piece of advice, that same exact advice, actually, a long time ago. They're like, if you get something where you go on tour, you're playing with the band and everything, I see, a lot of musicians get stuck in the hotel and they're constantly practicing the show, or they're constantly practicing.
Yeah.
And they're not doing anything. And I know those musicians. I've
Yeah.
bunked with them in a hotel room where I'm like, let's go out. And they're like, no, I'm just going to stick to this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And I mean, that's cool. And I mean, granted, if they have work that they have to do for the show, for the job, for that we're doing, I get that.
Yeah.
But short of that, somebody gave me advice where they're like, if you're in Atlanta, Georgia,
Oh, yeah. Done that.
go out.
Oh, yeah.
Go out and do something. Get away from your job, because they're like, you're going to miss out being like, oh, I was here, but I never did anything.
I mean, one, because I'm a cyclist, but
Well, there you
that
go.
first
There's- yeah.
Saturday, I get on my bike and ride, and then the next, 3 days into it, everybody's like, how do you know where everything is? How did you find all those cool bars? And like, when you drive, you're going too fast.
Yeah.
If you're walking, you ain't going very far.
Right.
So,
But if you go on a bike.
yeah. I mean, that's why I got mad into biking. Man, we were in New Orleans, and
Fuck was that? Did you
that
hear
was
that?
a firecracker.
that a firework? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the 4th of July is in 2 days.
Yeah, I know. Oh.
That's a pre-warm up.
This neighborhood, since the riots,
Oh, every day.
every night there's been, I swear every night there's fireworks going
Oh,
on.
yeah.
It's got to be. And I'm like, but also, I don't know, do you have sorry to interrupt your story, do you have the Citizen app?
I have the other one,
Whatever the
like
other
the
one.
next door one or whatever.
Yeah. It's like, after all that happened and even trickling down, it was like gunshots fired, and like reports of this, that, and the other thing. And then I've been seeing everything on social media be like, all right, everybody calm down. They're
Fireworks, yeah.
And I'm going like, well, maybe. I don't know.
Man, that's because you're not from LA. We know what a firework and a gunshot is.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. But when they're far away, that's what makes it hard for
Oh,
me. When I
yeah.
hear that little pop, I'm like, wait, what was that? Well,
Right.
because, the riots happened and it spooked everybody. Everybody
Yeah.
got like really.
Hey, I'm from the LA riots. This was a good riot, but it wasn't
wasn't.
the same.
That's all
It wasn't the
anybody
same.
I've talked to that's from LA, they're like, this is vaguely familiar, the LA riots, but it's not.
No.
No, the only thing that was weird for me, because you live down by the beach right now.
Yeah, I'm in Playa right now.
Okay, yeah. They were all here, and you know where we're at right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
And I was like, what are like?
Well, I told you I came from this girl's house that lives down the street from you. I've been over here the whole time too, listening to the same
Oh.
fireworks as you.
Were you here when all that shit went down?
I
Up
was
in
here
this
a
neck of
couple
woods?
days. I stay in my own place sometimes too.
Right. No, but I mean,
No, I'm
during
just
when it
teasing
went,
you.
yeah.
No. Yeah, no, I was here. Hold on, let me check this little camera.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Make
Do
sure
it.
this one's still
Yeah. If it's not filming, then we'll find out. We'll make a cut and an edit or whatever. That sucks that those cameras don't.
Yeah, this one's on the whole time. So
Oh, well, then there you go.
we have a
No,
backup.
we got it.
That's a pretty one.
We got a good wide shot.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go. Was that one done?
If this one turns off after a little while, I just gotta hit it, and unless it's plugged into a battery.
Oh, then it just stays on and
Yeah, it
mobile and
stays
everything.
on.
That thing is so fucking cool. I gotta get some cool cameras. We'll work on it. Right now, this is being brought to you by the iPhone 10 and I think maybe 11, or Jason might have the I don't know. Well,
The XS Max, whatever.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Then,
I
like,
don't
then we
know.
got one of those Sony A7 IIIs.
Yep. there you go.
2019, and then we have an old Sony handy camera pointing to that bad boy right there.
There you go. Yeah.
That's the nice one right there.
Yeah. And this is the bad boys are Jason's gear. So if anybody ever catches this, whether you're listening or you're watching this on YouTube, please send me money. So Don't do a Starbucks gift card. I can't use that shit. That's not real money. Send me money so I can get nicer cameras. No,
Everybody
or
said
an
$3.
endorsement.
$3.
Yes, everybody send it. Do it right now. Think about it. Oh, and also, too, before I forget, since we're getting into the top of the hour, I got to mention a little shout out. If you're just listening, you're not going to see this. But if you're watching, too, my friend Annette made little coffee mugs for me. I got 2 of them right now. The Michael O'Grady and the Creatives. These are not for sale yet, because we haven't figured that part out yet. So these are mine. There you go. Yeah, exactly. So these are cool. These turned out really, really well. My buddy Josh Bauer, he did an episode with us. He did the logo and everything.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Man, you get prime time.
Yeah, now it's official.
Are you officially one of those influencers now?
You know what? I hear that all the time, and I don't know what the hell that. I guess a YouTube influencer.
Oh, yeah, you know what that is. Why are you trying to pretend like you don't know what it is?
Because I wanted to do like a pod. Well, either way, it's like podcast influencer. Everybody's got like that stink on there. Like,
yeah.
It's weird how social like it's really cool, but it's also like so fucking overwhelming with everything we have now at our fingertips. Whether whatever it is you want to do. This is why I'm doing this. I'm like, you can do it.
And you can do it. iPhones. That's all you need.
Yeah, and it's bananas how great in quality and the content, like, whatever you're...
Oh, yeah, in that bag, you had the real professional mics, but I didn't know what we had. But I had the lavalier mics that actually have an adjustment that you can plug right into the iPhone.
What?
And start recording with the Rode app and everything.
No
you just
shit.
Free Rode app. Goes. Yep, easy.
Wow.
So no excuse, people. Go do your podcast.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen videos on that. It's very, very similar. I think that might have just...
That did you lose one?
Did we lose camera 2? We lost camera 2. Oh, no. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us... Well, I don't know if you'd be just joining us. If you've listened so far, you'd be like an hour into it. Did that die on us? All right, we lost the wide shots.
We were on that one still.
Oh, well, you put that one back up.
I turned out, so that one died, and we went straight to the other one.
Oh, nice. There you go. Boom, boom,
overlap.
Boom, boom, boom. You know what I need? I need to eventually get to the point where I can have somebody be the editor on this, because I think if you watch like Joe Rogan, he's got that guy Jamie.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's editing while the episode is happening.
Yeah, he has a board where he can flip to each camera.
Yeah, and I'm like, that would make it go so much quicker. Because when
those are expensive, brother. He's gonna need $10 from all you guys.
I need $10, 20 from some of you. Yeah, I'm gonna save up for that and not spend my money on booze and food and everything.
Well, he only gave me 1 beer, guys, so I don't know if he's really spent it on booze. So I don't know what's going on.
Actually, I haven't had a beer in over a month and a half now. This was the first time I had one in a while.
Are you on a diet?
No, you know what it was? I've been very busy with everything. I've been doing everything.
Do you not love yourself?
No, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. No, you know what it was? I needed to take a break. I really did. Not that I had a problem or anything, but I was like getting these hangovers, even just after having.
Oh, you were living that music life, huh?
A little bit, maybe.
Okay.
No, but it was like something with, I don't know, just like, and I just stopped thinking about drinking since we've been in the COVID situation.
I called the COVID 19 pounds because that's what I got.
See, that was the thing. Like, I went the opposite route. When I go out, I'm like drinking, I'm eating food, I'm doing all that stuff. When I'm home and by myself and whatever, I'm kind of like, I don't even think about it. So I didn't even think about it, and I just had like 2 beers left over in the fridge. And
they were a mismatch.
They were a little bit of a mismatch. One was a Guinness, one was a Miller Lite. I don't know how that happened. Oh, you know what it was? Oh, I was pissed. You know why? Okay, I bought that Guinness back in March for St. Patrick's Day because I was gonna have.
It's as March.
Yeah, it's expired. No, those don't expire. Guinnesses will,
Where's the born on date?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, we gotta check the bottle again real quick. You're like, I don't feel so good as the night's going along. No, I got them, and then all like the major lockdowns because the lockdown started March 13th, and it was like, all right, that's it. Everybody go home from work. No schools, no nothing. Da da da. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll have like a few people over, and I'll go get some beers. And then...
Oh, yeah. So when they tell you not to have people over, that's when you have people over.
No, that wasn't until then. No, that's the thing. No.
Good job, Mike.
No.
Good job, Mike.
No, leading up to St. Patrick's Day, we were still, like, they didn't issue
No, it was
that.
like that first week. I remember I was like, oh, they're going to close St. Patrick's Day. It's going to be terrible. And they did it.
And I was
so pissed. I had my green shirts and everything.
You had everything ready to go? Do you go out and celebrate? Do you, like, go and, like, out and do it?
Man, I should show you my mom. She's from Chicago.
Your mom?
Yeah,
From
so
Chicago. There you go.
man, she goes full bore. She had like
Is she Irish?
no,
By
black
def-
Irish.
That's we're counting that. We're
Right?
counting that.
But
yeah.
she went full like Lucky Charms outfit, the
No.
whole thing with the hat, the green like 2-piece jacket and everything.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So I had a couple shirts. I had one that says "I wish you were beer," and I had another one that was green and white, and it said "Drinks well with others."
There you go.
And then I had my Celtics jersey.
Ooh. Are you a Celtics fan?
No, the soccer team.
Oh.
I'm from LA.
Oh, my bad.
Boston?
What?
Hell
I
no.
don't know. When I hear Celtics, I think Boston Celtics.
I was talking about the real Celtics.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yes.
I don't know anything about it. I
Football.
only know, yeah.
Football.
Football. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
I didn't know that was a big deal for you guys. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know about the LA Galaxy. I think that's
Yeah,
all I know when it goes.
mean,
I don't know.
I mean, when they had Beckham, it was fun to watch, but
Other than that,
it's over.
not really. Yeah, I don't know.
The other team's better.
With the
Will Ferrell team.
Will Ferrell's got a team?
Yeah, the
I didn't know
LA
this.
football club.
I didn't know this.
Right across the street from the Coliseum, they play.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that brand new stadium. They have a lot of bands playing there.
What at not the Forum?
No, it's right across
The
the
new
street from the Coliseum.
Wait,
the new one.
what are you talking about? Who's playing there? Nobody. Not
I-
right now.
No one right now. But I was gonna tell you, I forgot the name because it was definitely not my type of music. It was one of those band people. It wasn't hip hop, but I went. It was fun.
Wait, what band? Do you know? Like, what's not your? Wait, I gotta know it.
my iPhone's recording us. I can't look it up.
All
I know is they wore like suspenders and white shirts. They kind of sound like a weird Dave Matthews Band. Not as good as Dave Matthews. There's like 4 of them.
And they
They
wear
wear-
suspenders.
They
and
wear,
white
yeah, they
shirts?
dress like they're from like the 40s. Girls love them.
Who does that? Wait, with suspenders?
Yeah, they have like the little flat bill hats that like snap down. Old Scott, they look like.
Is it like a
Kango
rock
hats.
band?
Yeah, it's like a band. Yeah, it's like James Matthews style,
I'm
but not as
thinking
good
of-
as James Matthews.
Not
Dave Matthews, not James. Dave Matthews.
James Matthews, his
Dave-
his retarded brother.
Right.
I mean, sorry, his stupid brother. Can't say those words anymore. What
Oh
band?
my God, it was new. It was like hot.
It's a new band.
I mean, they were new to
Suspenders.
me.
They're new to you. I think the Hives used to do that. Something with
mean,
suspenders.
yeah,
Was
it's
it
kinda-
all white? Did they look like the Droogs from like A Clockwork Orange?
Yeah, it's kind of like that style.
Can you Google it and you can tell me?
Man.
Do it. So this is
I
gonna
don't even
bother
know what to look up.
me. I swear to God, if this is like a huge popular band, I'm gonna give you so much shit
It
for
is.
it.
It is.
And you're like, I don't know who this is.
Oh man, did Matt tell you a story about New Orleans?
No.
Okay, let's do this because I know the answer to this one.
Okay.
So me and Matt are working on Ender's Game down in New Orleans.
That's how you guys met.
Yes, we did on
Okay,
Ender's Game.
Yeah.
And
Matt Coatsworth from episode 888. Give everybody an idea. There you go. Sorry.
so
go ahead.
we're down there, and Matt, he used to be like in a little boy band or something in Canada, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's how we met because we were in a band together.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
there you
that's
go.
how. Yeah, because he was a drummer in a band. I auditioned for the band. I got the gig, and then we became friends after that. Yeah.
See,
there you go.
sweet.
Yeah.
So there's this band that played off of Frenchman Street. Frenchman Street is where all the real locals go to go
Right.
hang out and party. And they had the little band equipment, and they had like a bucket.
Yeah.
And they're making like people throwing money in the bucket, whatever. Matt starts talking to them in French. We hang out with these guys. A couple times they would have like these small shows. He would jump on stage and play with them.
No shit.
And I thought these guys were a small, poor band. And then Matt calls, hey, that band. You see me, I'm bad with music. Matt, you're going to have to go to the Matt and edit this back and put the band's real name in there. So we go, and he's like, oh, no, they're playing in some big place in L.A. And I think I saw it was like driving by L.A. Live. And I'm like, oh, I saw their name. I go, oh, Matt, those guys actually like a real band? And he goes, yeah. And I go, well, if I would known that, I would not be buying those motherfuckers drinks. I thought they were poor. I thought I was helping them out. They should have been buying me drinks this whole damn time. I'm giving these rich people free money.
Wait, do you remember the band name? No,
No,
not at all.
I'm
But it was
so
a
bad with
big
music.
band.
Yeah, I mean probably middle, but good
So-
enough to tour and play in LA.
So, like
Live.
you could buy us drinks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a opposite situation where a buddy of mine was connected somehow with two of the band members from 5 Seconds of Summer. Do you know that band name? No? It's like okay, just to give you an idea, they are like they were like, not like a boy band, kind of like a boy band, but they were like this new punk rock boy band.
I know No Effects.
Kind of like that.
Okay.
Same kind of. They come from this school. If they grew up listening to like they're from Australia. I want to say. I think I'm saying all of this right because I get confused on names and years go by and stuff. And this was only a couple years ago, so whatever. But it was like the drummer and the bass player, and we were hanging out, and I was like, oh shit, those are those guys. And they're very sweet guys.
Yeah.
They're very nice. But the whole night, they were like, you don't have a beer, let me get you a beer. And they just bought drinks for everybody.
I need to hang out with those types of bands.
Right.
I'm hanging out with the wrong
They knew
bands.
what the fuck was up. I didn't pay for a single thing that night. They knew what the fuck was up and everything. And they were so, like, and they're young guys, but they're like 6'5" or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, they're Aussies. Aussies are tall as shit, man.
Are they all? Yeah. They're like all fucking tall. I don't, like, except for like AC/DC, but they're Scottish, and that's different. I don't know, because they're like 4 foot tall. Akadaka.
Yeah, that's how the Aussies say it. Akadaka.
They do not say that for AC/DC.
Bro, I lived there for like 2 years.
They do?
Yeah.
They call, what?
It's Akadaka. I'm probably not pronouncing it right with the right accent, but it's Akadaka.
Well, that's the weird thing about Australia, though, isn't it? Because it's like, I learned that from Brisbane and Melbourne, is that like you just...
Melbourne, you said it right.
Yep.
You know.
I know that, yeah. It's like, that's what I don't get about accents and stuff like that, because when you say something without an accent, you're like incorrect. You're not right on it. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to throw in...
Before you go too far, you know you're gonna get destroyed because the girl that lives down the street, she's an Aussie. So
Is she really?
probably gonna hear that.
All right.
We're about to get fucked up right now.
No.
But I talk shit all the time. Don't worry. Get that bogan accent.
Who the fuck? No, but that's what I'm saying is like it's interesting. Like you gotta kind of throw my brain goes throw the accent in slightly, little bit to be like it's Brisbane, it's Melbourne.
Yeah.
Like it's like well,
I do
Melbourne. Actually, no, I'm kind of saying it without the accent. I take that back on those two words.
Well, no, because if you would have said Melbourne, right?
That's Ohio. That's the Ohio talk.
Yeah.
Melbourne. That's
Yeah.
how you see what I'm saying
yeah.
like that. But yeah, they have a really fast. It's like they have a fast way of talking.
They go up higher the pitch at the end,
Is that
and
what
we
it
like
is?
go down.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
I
that what
can't
it
do it. I just know what it is.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So that's what's kind of like interesting to me about that, like especially for like they call it ACDC.
Dude, we're about to get killed. I have the worst accent. I'm not an actor. He's an actor, so he should be doing it right.
Dude, no,
But-
you know what? No, it's not even that.
But-
It's but as an American, we get killed on accents because people who
Oh,
are
yeah.
from other countries, Australia, Germany, France,
Australians
they're
are the
so
worst.
good at doing an American
No,
accent.
they're not.
They're not?
Terrible.
The Australians are not?
The ones that live in Australia are terrible.
No. But the good
Yeah, the good ones have
the
been
good
here.
actors that are here, because
yeah.
that's like
yeah.
you forget that Christian Bale is not from the U.S. in
Exactly.
every movie he ever fucking does.
You just have to. Here's the trick. You gotta listen to anything with an ER is an A to them. They can't say
Right.
November. It's November.
November.
December.
Wait, what about T's? T's are right, like Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's that weird
Quick.
Tuesday. Yeah.
And anything they can cut in half, they will.
They fucking do
Avocado. Avo.
Avocado.
Tomorrow. Avo. It's the same thing.
Wait,
It's
tomorrow
avo,
is
avo.
what?
It's ARVO, but it's like they say it like
Okay.
Avo. One's Avo, one's Avo. And you got to be listening close. You're like, I always say, are you talking about avocados or tomorrow? I got to listen to the whole damn sentence. I'm like, I don't know which one you're talking about.
Like, are we having avocados tomorrow?
Right? Oh, Avo? People are like, oh, shit, this is hard.
Oh, my God.
And then, what? Anything that is like, like right, is right or something like, they put an O in shit.
So that one's elongated then.
Yeah, so it's like right.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
What's another word?
Right. It's like your lips
Yeah.
have to go right, like
Yeah.
with a. So
But
that's
then
the
they'll probably
opposite.
try. We probably sound English to them, but
Probably.
yeah.
We're probably not
We're
doing
probably
a good
butchering
job
it,
with
but-
and everything.
But
yeah.
the pros, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I had to do a voiceover audition recently, and I didn't have to do it, but I was, how like, I don't know, they send me the emails like,
Yeah.
anybody want to do this? And I was like, okay.
I mean, I never got one, so I don't know.
Oh, you
but
never
yeah.
got one? Well,
I'm just
that's how
teasing.
some- yeah.
I've sent them before, though.
Yeah, well, you get an email going,
Yeah.
can anybody do this? And
Yeah.
then you go, yeah, I'll
Backstage
do it.
West kind of stuff.
Stuff, that kind of stuff. Yeah, my agent will send me stuff from time, or she sends it to everybody, and you
Yeah.
go, oh, I'll give this a shot. I did a voiceover audition for, I think,
Podcast?
no.
Just kidding.
She hasn't called me back. I don't know what the fuck happened. No, it was for like this Italian drink. I think it's like a non-alcoholic beer. I think it's called Crodino or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. But they go watch the watch the commercial of the way they have it in Italian.
Yeah.
We need a American actor to do the voiceover in English.
Yeah.
And I was like, I asked my buddy who's from Italy. I asked somebody else I knew who was from Italy. And I was like, how do I say Crodino? And they were like, Crodino. And I had to go in, and I'm like, am I saying? And I had to ask him. I'm like, do I sound like an asshole right now?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because
totally.
the only way to get that to be, they go, this is what I'm saying. This is what's weird about the accent to me. And is if I'm saying it right, it's because I'm saying it with the accent. Crodino.
Yes.
They go, that's right.
Yeah.
But if I go Crodino.
Bon appetito.
Yeah, if I go Crodino, they're like, no, that's not it. And
Yeah.
I go, Crodino. And they go, there it is. And I go, well, I don't want to sound like I'm making fun of you. Do you see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So when I had to do this self-audio audition, I'm here in this space by myself for like, you know how long it took me to do that?
Probably like 2 hours.
No, 3 days.
Did you keep watching it over?
I kept listening.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Because I'm going, oh, no, that sounds so condescending.
I
That
mean-
sounds so this. And I was so in my head about it. And I
But then
finally.
sometimes they like the American accent better because I never tried when I was in Australia. I never tried to do that Aussie shit unless I was really pissed drunk. But
But for an audition for something, I'm
Yeah.
like, what do they want it to sound like? And I asked my buddy, I was like, what do you think
But
it
they
sounds
loved the American sound too, so that's
He
why you
goes,
don't want to go.
yeah,
you don't want to
he-
get rid of it. Some places love
He goes,
that sound.
balance it out.
Yeah.
Talk like how you talk. In a way, like, because I'm doing
Yeah.
like an announcer voice almost, but I have to give it like some gusto and some vibrato
Yeah.
anyway. And he goes, but then when you get to that word, then you can hammer it home, and then that will make sense.
Gotcha.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I finally felt like I could. And by the way, it didn't take me 3 whole days. I would do it a couple times and go, yeah. No, I was like, I'm obsessing. No, I did it a couple times, and I'd go, you know, like, okay, I'm sick of this. I can't do this anymore. I'm fucking out. I'm done. Like, I took a break for the day.
Did
and
you
then
compress it and put limits on all your sound? I know you probably did, sound guy.
No, he did.
Oh,
No,
he
he
did.
did though.
Oh,
He
he
did.
did.
He
Okay.
knows. He knows. He does.
Yeah.
He did. His name's Dario Comuzzi, and he did episode 3, and he does a lot of music and overdubbing and sound and
Yeah.
like scoring and stuff like that. He's got like libraries and banks and shit like that. He's got a shitload of material out
Yeah,
there.
I'm sure.
And so he's like, I'll take care of that for you. And I was like, great. And but I sent it to him, and I was like, listen to it and tell me if you approve, and I don't want to ever hear it again. And he goes, yeah, it sounds fine. And I was like, okay, cool. And, you know, this is stupid to stress over a stupid audition like this, but I have fun with it,
Yeah.
you know, at the end of the day. And plus I want to like try to do a good job as a actor. And he goes, great. He's like, I mixed it, and he sent it to me. And then I sent it right over to my agent, and he was like, did you listen to it? And I was like, fuck no. Like,
Yeah.
like, I don't want to see, I don't want to hear.
Did you ask for what your mise en scène is?
Yeah, no, I didn't, but I should have done that. That would have been better. That
What
would
am I
have
supposed to be feeling as I say this?
Yeah. Oh, you know what it was? You know what I did do as a little trick? So the commercial that I did was this guy comes up and gives a speech, and it's a gorilla. It's like a monkey gorilla thing, and
Okay.
he's kind of like a mascot for the drink. And then people,
Yeah.
when I sent it to them and showed them what it was, they're like, "Oh, I know that." You know what I mean? It's kind of like
Ah.
Chester Cheeto,
Yeah.
whatever, you know, or the Fruit Loops guy. So he's got like obviously this like certain thing to him, and the music that's playing in the background is the final countdown. So it's like this
It's
epic
the
speech.
final
Yeah,
countdown.
dun, da, 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 and he's giving this speech. So in order to get into character and do it, I do it on GarageBand, and I do the audition, and I have the final countdown in the
The
track.
headphones?
But when you send the
Yeah.
audition, you can't have anything but your voice. So I separated them, and while I'm doing this speech, I'm in here going, like, it's going, "Ba, ba-da-da," and I'm going, listen to me. We all have a drink. Like, and I'm going, this is the dumbest shit.
But they
I-
loved it, right?
Oh, I didn't get the
Oh,
part.
oh.
I didn't. Somebody else probably got the part or whatever like
They
that.
had a
But-
better song.
yeah, they probably had a better song. They had a better voice than I did and everything. And I was like, you know, and it was one of those things. But like, yeah, when you're doing all that kind of stuff, you can easily get in your head. And as like an actor or a musician, and this was one of the things I was talking, I think I might have talked about this on one of the episodes, but like, especially for movies, it's a creative field. And they're
Yeah.
like, they're cousins of music.
They're very
But
close.
they are different because the same way you think and talk shop and shoot the shit and everything is not the same as an actor, is not the same as musicians. And a lot of people, what I've noticed, the musicians that I know go, I would never, ever do acting auditions ever.
Yes, I can see that.
It's different.
It's different.
It's a different mindset. And for me, it's almost easier to go in as an actor and audition. and I don't know what that is.
Gotcha. See, that's why I don't want to be in front anywhere.
You know what
I'm
I mean?
an aggregator. I mean,
I put you in front of these cameras, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Exactly. I'm like, no. I'm like, let me find the editor. Let me find the musician. Let me get the guy who's gonna pick the song. Let me get that composer.
You
And
like put.
I'm gonna get these parts and we're gonna put them together.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what we basically do in post production.
Yeah.
We put all that stuff together. We take stuff off the camera. We take the edits. We take the sound. We take the dubbing. We take all that stuff and we wrap them up
in a nice little bow,
and we send it to theater, hopefully on time.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, how is it like with? Do you work with the what the hell is it called? The when the actor has to come back in. I can't think of the word.
Oh, when they do voiceovers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it?
ADR.
ADR. Right,
Automatic
yeah.
dialogue replacement for you ladies and gentlemen.
For you laymen's out there, and me, because I forget, because I did one commercial one time, and someone's like, "We might have to come back for ADR," and I was like, "Okay," and I walked away.
And it's a weird name for it.
And I was like, what the fuck did I just agree to?
It should be in your contract already. You should have so many ADR hours, and if not, you should be billing for it. But
yeah.
don't let anybody know.
They didn't need me for it, but I remember learning it later, and I was like, oh, that's what that guy said. And I just agreed. I like, you never
Yep,
do that?
yep.
You ever nod your head, and you're
And
just
they're
like,
oh my God, he's going to do free ADR. We love this guy. That's so awesome. Michael's the man.
yeah, he's coming in.
Your
dude.
agent's like, did you just agree to for free work?
You're like, fuck no. But what was I gonna ask you about? Yeah. So do you are you involved with the
Yeah,
ADR?
we're in charge of the ADR sessions. I mean, we're more in charge of booking, making sure they're on budget, because you only have so much money to do ADR.
Really?
So we have to monitor that. Who should we do it? Who's more important? What lines mess up the most? Does that line move the movie along? Does it need to be ADR? Blah, blah, blah. We make kind of decisions like that
Is this
as well.
like at the trickle end of the movie?
This is a trickle in ADR, because ADR is what. Well, sometimes you go into a shot knowing that you're going to need ADR.
Another firework.
Yeah.
If you folks just heard it, I don't know if the mic's picked up on it, but that sounded like it was like right here. Ka-pow!
Yeah, you almost jumped. No, I'm just kidding.
I've been a little jumpy lately. When I hear like a noise, I'm kind of. Well, you know what it is too. It's I have a 2.5-year-old daughter.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
those noises, you perk up. Like before, I'd just be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Now it's like.
Do I need to go in Captain Dad mode?
You hear the slightest. It's scary because you hear noises. That scares the shit out of you. Not only that, it's when you hear silence.
Hey, what are you doing in that room? I don't hear nothing.
No, but when they're so young, like
Yeah.
I'll try to make dinner, or I'll try to do something in the kitchen, and then I'm like, doing this shit.
I would say something so Daddy knows you're breathing.
Yeah. And I'll go, Olivia, and I'm like, because I don't hear anything, and it's the scariest shit where you're like, dead silence is fucking terrible. So yeah, when I hear like a noise, I'm like, what was that? It's weird too, because then anyway, sorry. ADR.
Wait, let's ask a question to O'Grady. I don't know, how did you get started in LA in this music world? Let's hear a little bit about you.
Ooh, that is a good question. We're gonna skip off of you and get on to me.
Yeah, I'm
little
sure
old me.
no. Hey. I would post. We got to make this story complete.
That's true. That's a good point. Actually, would you mind if we took a quick second break?
Yeah, let's take a quick
so I can use
second
the restroom, and
Yeah.
we'll get into the second part of this real quick and everything.